The tire blew out with a sound like a gunshot, echoing down the bright afternoon road. The car swerved to the shoulder as a teenage girl burst into tears under the unforgiving midday sun. Across the street, grease-stained hands froze in midair as a single dad mechanic looked up from his rusted toolbox, unaware that this small moment of kindness would reach a billionaire's home by morning and change his life forever. If you believe in kindness, second chances, quiet power of doing the right thing when no one is watching, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Life Spark Stories right now. Support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them. Aaron Cole had learned to survive one long day at a time. His tiny roadside garage sat beneath a faded blue sign, paint peeling from years of sun exposure, but it was all he had left after life took more than it gave. Since his wife passed away, every daylight hour was split between fixing cars and worrying about his 8-year-old son Noah, who waited at home with homework spread across the kitchen table. Money was always short, and the fear of losing the garage pressed on Aaron's chest heavier than any engine block he lifted. Still, he showed up every morning, sleeves rolled, tired, but hands steady. That afternoon, Aaron noticed the stranded car and the girl standing beside it, backpack at her feet, shoulders shaking as passing vehicles ignored her. The sun reflected harshly off the asphalt, and she looked too young to be alone, too frightened to know what to do. Aaron wiped his hands on an old rag and crossed the street without hesitation, knowing he would not be paid, and that time was something he could not afford to give. He found a flat tire shredded beyond repair and a spare tire untouched, the girl too overwhelmed to even attempt changing it. Her name was Maya Rhodes, 17 years old, stranded on her way home from school after refusing a driver sent by her family. She wanted to feel normal, to prove she could handle life on her own, and instead found herself stuck and terrified. Aaron worked silently, sweat rolling down his face as the sun climbed higher, aware of the ticking clock and his son waiting for dinner. He finished. He refused the money she tried to hand him, gently explaining that sometimes people just help because it's the right thing to do. Maya left with gratitude etched into her expression, but Aaron returned to his garage, unaware that she memorized his name from the faded sign and carried the story home with her that evening. He closed up late, picked up Noah from a neighbor's house, fell asleep worrying about rent, repairs, and a future that felt increasingly fragile. The next morning arrived with clear skies and the same familiar anxiety. Aaron was unlocking the garage when a sleek black car pulled up, far too polished for his cracked pavement. The woman who stepped out carried quiet authority, dressed simply yet unmistakably powerful. This was Serena Val herself, made billionaire known across industries, and more importantly, Maya's mother. She had listened to her daughter's tearful story the night before, about a mechanic who helped without asking for anything, who treated her not as a name or a status, as a scared kid in need. Serena walked through the garage, observing the worn tools, the aging lifts, and the man who stood nervously unsure why someone like her would be there. She spoke about gratitude, about teaching her daughter what character looked like in the real world, and about how rare it was to find genuine kindness untouched by expectation. She offered Aaron a chance not framed as charity, but as partnership. Her automotive company needed someone who understood machines and people, someone who could lead community repair programs and train young mechanics from struggling backgrounds. Aaron felt the weight of years lift slowly, disbelief mixing with hope as the impossible became real in the clear morning light. He thought of Noah, of dinners without worry, of a future not defined by survival alone. This was not a miracle born of ambition, but a reward rooted in decency. As Serena drove away, Aaron stood in his garage, sunlight pouring in through open doors, realizing that the smallest act done in daylight had echoed farther than he ever imagined. Before the ending, a special request. Please comment below and tell us where you're watching from and whether you believe kindness always finds its way back.